Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Big changes in the weather today. Today we started off in the morning at 6 degrees Celsius and it's just dropping and dropping today, and we're going down to minus 7 degrees Celsius tonight. Tomorrow night is going even colder. It's getting down to minus 8 degrees Celsius, so the cooler side of cold. So I've been bringing all the trees in from the benches into the greenhouses to give them some protection. There's no snow on the ground at the moment, so when it goes down to minus 8, it's quite windy out. It could kind of start freeze drying the plants. So it's good to give them some kind of protection at those temperatures. I'll give you a tour of the greenhouse now. So I'm leaving this end bench open for making videos in the winter. I've got a lot of hardy trees that need pruning. I've got my benches full. Here's the left-hand side bench, full of hardy trees. Down this end I have all my oak seeds or acorns planted in the seed trays and pots. Over this side, it's full too. Lots and lots of trees in here. All the way down, filling the benches. And then down below, I have my larch forest and my avatar grove, some of the elms. I've got a space here for my maples. On this side, I've got the Douglas firs, the cedar elephant diorama, Scots pines, my mixed bog forest, my pine tree that's in Shanny's pot over there. Yeah, so I've got a lot of the trees in. I'll show you the benches now outside. Here's a look at the benches outside. So this bench is still quite full, but a lot of that can go in the poly house. There's only a couple on this bench. And then if we go down to the main bench area here, I've got my great big European buckthorn there that can go in the poly house. A few little, larch seedlings and stuff down here. My apple tree, the white pine, maples, the ripcord cedar, a few pine seedlings, and that's about it. Maybe this cedar here, the big one, I prune back, protect that too. And I'll probably put the bigger cedars, they're in pots. If I can fit those in the greenhouse, there's 3 of them here, 2 there and 1 here. If I can fit those in the greenhouse on the floor, I will. And that's about it. All the trees will be in by the end of today for sure. So the temperature right now, it's 3 degrees Celsius. It started off 6 in the morning. It's 3 now, going down to minus 7 tonight. Whew, it's gonna feel cold. My maples here are a little tall to fit under the bench, so I'll have to give them a pruning. All right, let's give the trees a pruning, get them reduced in height so they fit under the bench. I'm gonna take this one off here. This is a poplar that grew up in the pot here. It's getting quite tall. I've got a good place back here that I could change the leader to this one and prune off the really tall part. So I'll do that. Like that. And then I'll even prune this top leader back to here. And take the side branch off. Really reducing that back. These poplars really grow, so it's good to cut them back hard. I'll take this one back. And I've got to reduce this one too. Not a lot of vigor up top in these maples. I had a lot of dieback on them. They just haven't really got going yet since I dug them up from the ground. Like all this part's died off. So I'll take it off here. And I'll take this one off here. And this one to here. And that's plenty. Short enough to get under the bench now. and they should be good for the winter under here. My large red maple here also needs a bit of pruning so I can fit it under the bench. Okay, so here I go. Doesn't need much off the top, just the highest ones. I think that'll do it. Let's see if it fits under there now. No problem. Okay, that's good. My new glass greenhouse here has a good foundation underneath it, so there's no way mice and rodents can get inside the greenhouse in the middle of winter. My older one, my plastic greenhouse, it doesn't have a foundation, so they can tunnel underneath and come up into the greenhouse. I have had mice nibble on the trees. So I'm trying to fit as many trees into the glass greenhouse as I can, and I'll just put the overflow ones into the plastic greenhouse. This European buckthorn is the heaviest tree I have. It's in a concrete pot. It's a big tree. So it's going to go in the poly greenhouse. It's very hard to lift this, but I think I can do it. So here I go. Okay, in it goes. It's even tall. Okay. Well, that wasn't so bad. It was actually fairly easy to get it in there. I'm really looking forward to working on this buckthorn over the upcoming years. I hope I can get it nice and healthy and growing really well. The weather is starting to get quite nasty out. It's starting to snow. The winds are coming up. I think I'll get all these trees in the greenhouses just in time. I see on the one cedar here, the rabbits have already been at work on them. You can see them all chewed here, and there's chew marks up here. See that? So I better get those in the greenhouse before they get ringed. I've got one last planting I've got to get into the glass greenhouse. That's my poplars and maple forest. So that's got to be fit in there somewhere. Well, there was no room for it in the glass greenhouse, so I managed to squeeze it into the poly house here. Right here. So there I go. All my trees are in, protected from the elements to some degree anyway. They should be fine for the winter. Well, all my benches are empty out here. It's kind of a sad sight. However, you know, spring will come. Just not today. It's one nasty day out today. Getting colder and colder. It's snowing now. Gonna get real cold tonight. Well, it feels really good getting all my trees put away for the winter. My wife is going to empty the last of the rain barrels today because we're going down to -8 tomorrow. So I'm going to top up the rain barrel in the plant room and maybe get some extra buckets just to put in the basement to keep some water on tap. Well, a bit of a surprise this afternoon. The sun has come out. That'll be nice shining in the plant room. I'm just going through all the trees in the greenhouses, making sure they're all thoroughly watered. Good cold ice water. I'll keep all these trees dormant, that's for sure. All right, let's get everything watered. I hope all the trees do well in the greenhouse this year. This is the first year I've overwintered them in a glass greenhouse, so things could change. Generally, the greenhouse with the heat on stays about 10 degrees Celsius above the outside temperature. So, you know, in the extreme coldness of winter, when it goes down to like -20 or -25 degrees Celsius outside, I'll be at about -15 in the greenhouse here, which is pretty good. That should protect all the trees from that, you know, really severe cold. So I'm hoping they all make it through the winter just fine. I think I'm making good use of the greenhouse. I've got my pot of soil underneath the bench where I video. I've got my box for clippings, compost, my watering cans, a stool to sit on. Each side of the bench I have tools. And up top on the new shelf up here, I've got a few pots. So if I'm doing repotting, I can put some pots up there. Yeah, so I'm all set for making videos, I think. I think I am. So that's kind of good. I think having all these trees on the ground, on the gravel bed down here, will be really good for them over the winter. You know, they'll get a bit of heat from the ground. They should be quite good. They won't get a whole lot of sun down here, but they'll get light. So yeah, that's the setup. It's making good use of this greenhouse, that's for sure. In every season, I'm sure I'll be using it all summer, all winter, spring and fall. I've got the barrel in the plant room all filled up, so I've just got to get a few more buckets of water to put down in the basement as a reserve. And then I'm going to do wood chips on the pathway, making sure there's no muddy sections. So in the wintertime, I can walk out here and not get my boots and shoes all muddy. You can see in the pathway here that the wood chips are a little thin in some areas. So I'm going to build up a nice thick layer, all the pathways going to the greenhouse. If you look up in the sky there, you can see the dark gray snow clouds rolling in. I think I was right about those snow clouds. It's snowing pretty hard now. The sun has come back out. I was cleaning up my area and I found the 4 stakes that I used to initially lay out the glass greenhouse. That seems like a long time ago. I'm making good progress on the wood chips. I've got all the way down here. I just have to do this little bit at the end now, and that'll be it for today. Well, my last load of wood chips for today it is starting to get dark out too. So here I go. All the hard work is done now. I've got all my trees put away for winter. I've got the pathways all with a nice layer of wood chips. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.